What is up, everybody? This is UVA Supplemental Essays Part 2. So I'm going to be going over the second question, how you should be approaching it, brainstorming, thinking a little bit more, and sort of fleshing out those beautiful ideas that you have about yourself so you can show the most unique and most impactful and most genuine qualities about yourself. So UVA will be in love with you and ready to accept you. Let's get started. For the second prompt, the important thing to know is that you just have to choose one of these prompts. You don't have to answer all of them. So just choose the one that you think most represents you and shows off those beautiful qualities about yourself. You want to choose something that is authentic and reveals a quality that you think is important to yourself. So let's get started with number 1. What is your favorite word and why? I would recommend choosing this if you think that your favorite word reveals something impactful about you. They don't actually want to know what your favorite word is as much as they want to know what your favorite word reveals about you. So if your favorite word is connected to an experience or to a relationship or to an ideology or reveal something about something you've been through or reveal something about your value system, those are things that you want to be really answering. And so the very first sentence should be answering what your favorite word is, and it should also be giving an explanation into why. I've seen essays that say the favorite word is family, and then describes why that person's family is really important to them, or the lack of family is really meaningful to them. I've seen people write about how their favorite word reveals something about their passion or their love for etymology and words. I've seen people who write about their favorite word as being a mathematical term and how that reveals a love for that specific field and that specific pursuit. I've seen people write about a word that encapsulates somebody's identity and somebody's pursuit of success, especially historical figures who have been a real supportive and real genuine figure in their lives. So if Abraham Lincoln, if he demonstrated resilience and that person's favorite word was resilience, they could then explain how their favorite word stemmed from a love for the historical significance of Abraham Lincoln. Those are the types of things that you can really hone in on the favorite word, but just make sure that the bulk of your essay is explaining why that is your favorite word and what that reveals about you. My personal favorite word is serendipity. I love that word. I really like how it conveys a love for genuine lucky circumstance as a result of the place you are and the drive you put in, and it just kind of encapsulates a lot of the love that I have for life. Just the serendipitous encounters that we have with each other and we have with life itself. Okay, let's get with number 2. So the second one is, we are a community of quirks, both in language and tradition. Describe one of the quirks and why it is part of who you are. So this essay is for people who think that they have some sort of unique trait that is quirky, that reveals something about you. So the goal is, once again, not to focus on that quirk as much as it is to focus on what it reveals about you, how you've dealt with it, what it says about your personality, things like that. And so I've seen people write about maybe the way that they walk or the way that they talk or some phrase that they use and how they were made fun of it, and how overcoming that quirk or learning to live with that quirk or learning how to deal with that quirk really revealed a lot about who they are, how they overcame whatever it is in their life, and how they've accepted and embraced that as their identity and as who they are. If you think that there is something quirky about you, then write about it and make sure you write about how that is, what that's taught you about identity, about yourself, and yeah, just come across as a pretty cool person. So if you have like a really cool catchphrase that you love to say, maybe you can talk about how you came to come up with that catchphrase and how you and your friends love to use it and how you've really embodied that catchphrase in your own life. If you like to dance in the hallways sometimes when you're listening to music, Just because you started dancing when you were young, you can write about that as a quirk. If you if you walk in a different way, or if you if you any sort of quirk that you think you can have, you can write about it, and just make sure that the bulk of the essay is really describing why that's impactful and what that uniquely demonstrates about you. The key is to embrace your differences and embrace your identity. And so you should generally try to be proud of the things that make you unique, because that's really what they're looking for. They're looking for people who are unique and different and who are really excited to learn. And so if you can connect that to UVA somehow and how you want to further embrace your quirk or join a community full of people who are quirky, that's amazing for your essay. All right, let's go on to the third prompt, which is, as you can see, a long one. So I'm going to minimize myself. And this third prompt is student self-governance, which encourages student investment and initiative, is a hallmark of the UVA culture. In her fourth year at UVA, Laura Nelson was inspired to create flash seminars, one-time classes which facilitate high-energy discussions about thought-provoking topics outside of traditional coursework. If you created a flash seminar, what idea would you explore and why? Okay, so student self-governance. What does that mean? So I think that there's a couple of really key terms here. So the first, obviously, is student self-governance. Students have a lot of responsibility at college, and UVA is really emphasizing that with this prompt. And so you're kind of responsible for your own learning, what classes you're taking, what groups you join, what service you provide. You're responsible for a lot of things. And ultimately, one of those things is you're responsible for governing or helping to govern the student body, for teaching each other and for providing each other support. One of the ways they mentioned that happening is with flash seminars. So students have the opportunity to contribute to those thought-provoking discussions that are outside of traditional coursework. And so you have the opportunity to choose any topic you want for other people to talk about. And it's really high energy, so a lot of people are going to be very engaged about it. And so ideally, you choose something that you think could promote a lot of conversation, and you choose a topic that is actually important to you, because if you're interested in and if it's important to you, then that reveals a lot to them. And the other thing is that a lot of people think that if they're applying to the engineering school or if they're applying as a pre-med, they have to choose, like if you're applying as a pre-med, you have to choose something in healthcare, or if you're applying into engineering, then you have to choose like a topic about something going on in engineering, or if you're studying computer science and you have to choose something about AI. You don't have to choose a topic that's related to the field that you're going to study. You just have to choose something that you're interested in and explain what you would do with that idea, how you would explore it, and most importantly, why you think it's an important conversation to explore. So if you think that talking about racism in healthcare and how there's a lot of healthcare disparities and these pockets of poverty, and how that disproportionately affects African Americans and Latino people, then that could be a conversation that's really worth exploring. You can talk about why that's been personally relevant to you, and why you think that would be a very important discussion for people to have within the UVA community in the flash seminar. If you think that talking about investments with Congress and Senate, if you think and how they shouldn't be allowed to invest into stocks, and you can explain very coherently in your essay why that's an important topic for you, all the students, to be able to talk about, and how that benefits the community, and why you're interested in exploring that could be a topic. If you're interested in one of the students whose essay I helped edit wrote about whether aliens exist, and that was the topic they wanted to explore, and they explained very clearly why they think that was an interesting conversation for them to have. So any of these ideas are really great. Anything you're passionate about and you can explain why you're passionate about it and why it would be a benefit to the UVA community can reveal a lot about you. All right, we're almost to the end. So the fourth is UVA students paint messages on Beta Bridge when they want to share information with our community. What would you paint on Beta Bridge, and why is this your message? Okay, so I honestly think that this is a similar prompt to the previous prompt that we just talked about. Once again, they're talking about how students have responsibility. They have the ability to broadcast their message to other people in the community. And so whatever you paint, hopefully it's motivating. it's interesting, it's shocking, it's something that is very positive, or something that's really, really important, a message that you want to get out. So it could be something as simple as like, um, thank you, or I'm appreciative of you, or it can be a message about, in my college, in my undergrad, there was a painting of Wuhan when COVID in like December of 2019 or in January of 2020. It was right before we had to go home, and people were praising the doctor who first found that there was COVID. And so you can choose something a little bit more serious. And whatever you're painting should, once again, the focus should be on why you're choosing that message to paint and why you're choosing that message to broadcast to other students, to faculty, and to administrators at UVA. It should be something that you're interested in and that you think is very important. And the key is that if you think something is very important and you can convey that, that reveals a lot about you and your personal values and who you are as a person. Okay, we're finally on the last prompt that you could choose. And this was actually not an option for me when I was writing the UVA essay. So this fifth prompt is, reader of UVA English professor and former US poet laureate once said in an interview that there are times in life when instead of complaining, you do something about your complaints. Describe a time when instead of complaining, you took action for the greater good. So this prompt is pretty cool because it's I think it's kind of written similar to a CommonApp essay. And so if you had multiple essays, multiple ideas for the CommonApp essay, you can probably come up with something. You can probably use one of those ideas that you didn't write for the CommonApp essay and repurpose it for this prompt if you choose to write this prompt. This prompt I think is really cool because it's talking about a time when you took action. So the focus should be, what was an issue that you thought was important? And what was that mindset shift that made you think, like, instead of complaining about this, I'm going to take action? So it could be you protested about an important issue. It could be during COVID. It could be about you helping your family with something. It could be about you doing research, and there was a problem in the community that you thought was really important, and then you sought a research lab. It could be about doing an internship. It could be about doing volunteering. It could be about teaching little kids who are underprivileged. It could be about helping your teacher with something. But anything that you did that helped other people, that's something for the greater good. And if you can talk about why you were very passionate about it, what that taught you, and how you grew from that service, or how you grew from taking action, and how you want to continue taking action, especially at UVA, that'll only make you a really, really interesting candidate and make you really, really valuable to them. So yeah, once again, you just have to choose one of these 5 prompts. I just wanted to really appreciate you and your time today. If you like this, please like and subscribe. It really helps me out. And yeah, I hope to see you in the next videos. Bye, guys.